Justice, it means different things in different contexts for me personally. It can mean retribution.
It's to create fairness.
A belief about how things should be in the world.
Well, we are expected to apply the laws of science to the laws of man.
You want to be the person that is able to balance the scale.
And I've still yet to find a definite answer, and I'm still searching. So, when I find out, I'll let everybody else know.
I am the first one, I'm an only child, so I'm the first one to attend college.
Everywhere I looked online, the #1 program was here at John Jay.
And John Jay actually for me was perfect because they have all the courses required for medical school, but they are a forensic science program. So I actually greatly appreciate that in hindsight, because if I had gone for a pre-med program, I would be dull, I think.
It attracts a certain kind of student, and not the ordinary student who's out for profit. It usually attracts the students who are interested in serving the public and the greater good.
We live in a culture that involves both great art and terrible crime. These things come together. They come together in Dostoevsky. They come together in The Great Gatsby.
I mean, a little bit of Dickens would go a long way toward helping some of the Bernie Madoffs of the world maybe understand what we're doing.
Any one class you might take in philosophy will be completely different because one person decides to focus on one aspect. I read Martin Luther King's letters from Birmingham jail in philosophy class.
Sometimes we learn things one way, so when we're presented with a new idea, there's a lot of resistance. And I think that's the part that I enjoy the most, is the resistance.
And I personally was opposed to affirmative action. And then we spent the entire semester just looking at it and why it's not perfect, but it works for the most part right now. And he flipped me on my head when it came to that.
I don't want to say that the students here are more motivated than they are in other colleges, but I will say that obviously they don't take it as much for granted.
I do think they are challenged by their demanding schedules because many are working full-time or part-time.
When you think about the alternatives and the fact that these students are getting a relatively inexpensive, high-quality education, I'm really proud of the kinds of changes that we make in their lives. Most of our students are first-generation college-goers or immigrants, and this education's critical for them.
In the forensic science program, there's a great amount of suffering due to studying and staying inside.
The library is my best friend, I have to say. There are nights when you'll be at the library until it closes, until the security says, unfortunately, you have to leave. And I'll be looking at them like, 15 more minutes.
I've had students who, day one, they're not really sure what they want to do, and I'm proud to say that some catch that sociological bug.
My personal research is violence against women in Colombia.
I think research is life-changing. Picking up the phone, being on an interview, asking questions from, let's say, the Deputy Attorney General of the Dominican Republic on the status of domestic violence in the Dominican Republic is very empowering for students.
What I really try to do is treat my students as scientific collaborators, going to the literature, seeing what other people have done, and then developing a series of experiments or other research studies with them.
When you work so closely and work for so long with one person who really is trying to nurture you and get you, to publish.
With many of them, it's a peer-reviewed publication. The research reaches that point.
Research experience at John Jay, coupled with the teaching, allowed me to think that I could move on to higher education past the bachelor's.
I found out that I had won the Pulitzer Prize when I was sitting in a college-wide faculty meeting right here at John Jay. And I was called out of the room and told about it, and I sank to my knees. It was an extraordinary moment.
So aren't we lucky? All of us who care about this institution recognize that it's going through a period of remarkable change. It really is a fundamental transformation of the college. So we are, in essence, reshaping this institution that we all care about and getting it ready for the next generation.
There was once a wise man, his name was Moses Maimonides, who listed the various kinds of charity that a person can perform for another person. At the near the very top of the list was teaching. The reason for that is you can say something during a lecture one day and forget about it 10 minutes later. But a student can come back to you 10 years later and say, I never forgot what you told me that day. That's the joy of teaching.